Hey everyone, welcome back to this site-to-site VPN lecture. In this, we are going to take a look at an architecture diagram. Unfortunately, I don't have any on-premise network or a device in my house that I can use to represent the on-premise network. But what I would like you to think to yourself is we are going to have the Ohio region on the AWS side of things represent the AWS network, whereas we are going to have the Northern California region on the AWS side of things represent the customer's network. So the Ohio region on the AWS side of things has the IP address for the VPC, which is 10.1.0.0/16, within which we have a public subnet 10.1.0.0/24, within which we have an EC2 instance, which we are going to use as a test EC2 instance, which has a public IP as 18.119.131.250 and a private IP, which is 10.1.0.131 from this subnetwork. And over here, we have established the VPN connection, which means we have created a virtual private gateway and attached it to this particular VPC on the AWS side of things, because this is the AWS's network representation. Now let's take a moment to consider the on-premise network representation. So we have the Northern California region as our on-premise network with the address block of 10.2.0.0/16. And we have a subnet over here, which is 10.2.0.0/24, within which we have a possible representation of the customer gateway, which is nothing but EC2 instance that runs the LibreSwan or OpenSwan VPN software. And then we have an instance behind this VPN device as a representation or a test instance of our on-premise EC2 instance, just to do some ping test and see whether things work fine or not. For the VPN instance, which is the representation of the customer gateway, the public IP address is 54.183.229.30, and the private IP is from this subnet range, which is 10.2.0.78. And for our test instance behind the VPN, the address is 10.2.0.56, and the public IP is 13.52.211.157. So the first thing that you have to do in terms of representing the customer gateway on the Ohio side of things is to provide the publicly reachable IP address of your customer gateway device, which is this LibreSwan VPN, which is 54.183.229.30 on the customer gateway. And the next step that you have to do is go ahead and create your virtual private gateway in the Ohio region and attach it to your VPC on the AWS side of things, and then establish a site-to-site VPN connection, choosing your virtual private gateway as well as your customer gateway. And right now we are not using BGP for dynamic routing. We are just using static routes. And for static routes, you can see over here, you need to enable a static route which says to go to 10.2.0.0/16 from your Ohio, which is your AWS network. So you're just saying, this is one static route that I'm going to add to go to my on-premise representation of my network through the VPN connection. Okay. And one more very important aspect over here is if you are using something like LibreSwan or OpenSwan and so on, you need to disable source and destination check, which is the same thing that you would do when you have a NAT instance in place for NATing instead of a NAT gateway. And the reason is because we don't want LibreSwan to check whether it is the source or destination of the traffic, because the source or destination would either be this test EC2 instance or this test EC2 instance. It wouldn't be this VPN instance. So therefore, you have to disable source and destination check. Now let's take a look at the route tables and see what kind of entries you need to do for the route table in the AWS side of things and for the route table in the on-premise side of things. For the AWS side of things, in the route table, we already have a local route over here, which is for this particular network, which is 10.1.0.0/16. And then, of course, since this is a public subnet, it already has an internet gateway attached. So it's 0.0.0.0/0 going to the internet gateway. But the important route over here is if you have to go through the virtual private gateway through your VPN connection, the VPN connection needs to have a static route, which is something that we already described over here, which is 10.2.0.0/16. But then you need to also add it in the route table to say all of your traffic to the 10.2 network from the 10.1 network should go through your virtual private gateway. And once you give this is automatically added as a propagated route. So in that way, now the AWS network has enough intelligence to send the traffic through the virtual private gateway. And if you have configured your tunnels properly, like over here, you can see that we have configured tunnel 1 properly within our LibreSwan VPN device. And since we have configured tunnel 1, it shows as the status is up and running. We still haven't configured tunnel 2. So therefore, for tunnel 2, we are still saying the status as down. Now let's take a look at the route table for your on-premise network. As usual, you can see over here 10.2.0.0/16 is the local route, which means all of the entities can talk within each other. Again, since this is a public subnet where you have your VPN device, 0.0.0.0/0 should go through the internet gateway. But then if suppose any machine behind your VPN would like to talk to the 10.1 network, you need to specify that all of the traffic should go through the Elastic Network interface of your VPN device, which is this LibreSwan VPN device's Elastic Network interface. And once you mention this, any virtual machine or any instance or any workload behind your VPN device, if it wants to reach the 10.1 network, it would go through the VPN device through your site-to-site VPN connection onto your 10.1 network, which is the AWS's network. So once you successfully establish all of these route table entries and your VPN tunnel is up and running, which would take 15 to 20 minutes, all you have to do is do some ping test, but do the ping test only using private IPs. So which means you have to modify the security groups of your virtual machines to ensure those security groups allow ICMP traffic for ping, and you have to use only your private IPs and don't use any public IPs, because once you have established the VPN connectivity, all you need to do is just use your private IPs for interacting between virtual machines on your AWS network and on any kind of device that you have on your on-premise network. So in regards to monitoring, I mentioned that if you configure one tunnel and one tunnel is down for more than 1 hour, you will get a notification like this on your personal health dashboard that says that you have one or more of your tunnels is down, which means one or more of your VPN connections are not using both the tunnels. So ensure that you have configured your second tunnel properly for resiliency and so on. I hope you guys got a really good idea in regards to how you configure a site-to-site VPN connection. So in the next video, I'll take you through the dashboard of the AWS console, where you can take a look at your customer gateway device, your virtual private gateway, and your site-to-site VPN connection. And then how do you download that configuration, or I'll show you a sample configuration, and then you can take that configuration and configure your VPN device accordingly for any one of your tunnels or for both of your tunnels for resiliency. I'll catch you guys in the next video.